This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the New Orleans Saints and the Detroit Lions. Set to go from Detroit as Matt Prater approaches and booms it away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line.
Yellow lady. Hey, easy.
The first carry now. This is Alvin Kamara. And room to run as he's up past the 35-yard line. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
A nice run here early on. It doesn't take a great play caller to realize you want to establish a guy of his caliber with runs like this early because they'll pay dividends as the game progresses.
So they'll come up after the gain of 7 on a 2nd and 3.
Here we go. Break it down, fellas. Break it down.
Now with just 1 second showing on the play clock, we're going to get a timeout. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter.
Ready. 95-56. 95-56. Hey, kill.
On 2nd down, Kamara trying to find a lane, but instead he'll get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. Call it no gain that time as it's going to leave him with a 3rd and about 3 to go. 3rd play of this opening drive as they're looking at a 3rd and 3. Here's Kamara trying to run for it. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. The Saints first down there on a gain of 11.
BIGleague Football.
Something to watch here in week 1 of the season, tackling. Because you and I both know that in the preseason, a lot of these guys don't play a whole lot. Plus the intensity and the speed really ratchets up on opening week.
He's got the first down and more inside the 40. And finally down at the 32-yard line. That good for 22 and a first down. So back-to-back big runs picking apart this defense on the opening drive.
I thought this was a passing league. I thought this was the era we were in where the ball was always in the air, right?
They didn't get the memo.
They didn't get the memo, and I know this to be true. Offensive linemen still, to this day, they want to run the football. They want to fire out and hit people across the line of scrimmage, and they're clearing space.
So 2nd and inches after that first down completion went just shy of the marker. Breeze leaves this one with Kamara. And they'll bring him down at the 18-yard line. 4 yards the pickup, first down. You were telling me this yesterday. This is exactly what they want to do on the opening drive, establish the ground game.
Yeah, remember our conversation? We were talking about what one of the GMs in the league has told me repeatedly. It's a big man's game, and it's not necessarily size. He's talking about playing some big boy football.
Yeah, keep
get
hitting
leverage,
it,
knock people back, and establish the run early.
A gain of 4 last play. They double that here and get 8. A bit of a catch for him to remember. That's number 400 for his NFL career. Not a bad number at all. Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards.
Oh, squat.
Now a first carry for Latavius Murray. And here he'll get it down to the 7. They'll get 3 as the drive continues. It's a first down.
I hope we give enough respect to the big guys up front because they have been getting it done on this drive. The holes have been large, and they've been barreling through and picking up first downs.
Hey, easy.
And now with a play clock winding down, a whistle and possibly a false start. That false start knocks them back behind the 10 now as they'll try again, 1st and goal. Following the penalty, it's Murray. And he'll take it into the end zone for the Saints touchdown. A 12-yard touchdown run. And they are able to strike first here on their opening drive. A long opening drive, but a very successful opening drive. We call that methodical, I guess, when it takes that many plays.
Methodical and almost like a boxing match where you're hitting them with body blows. They can withstand them here. Look, they gave up the touchdown, but you don't feel like a knockout is there. But they keep doing that in the 4th quarter. That's when the knockout occurs.
And it becomes tough for that defense if they're on the field that long. We'll see if they can continue that in future drives. Morstead out now following the touchdown to kick. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line. Stafford and the Lions now have it 1st and 10 at their own 22. Out of the gun, Stafford. And seeing no options, he just tosses this one away, incomplete. Now that'll bring up 2nd down. Charles, already trailing by a touchdown early. This offense, how imperative is it for them to get points out of this drive?
Well, they feel like they have to go ahead and match because of what was already on the board against their defense. But I think even more so, you just want to avoid 3 and outs. You want to be able to stay on the field for a little while, let your defense catch their breath a little bit, even if you don't score any points.
They try to throw on 2nd down, but this one is incomplete.
He kind of forced that one there, didn't he? It's almost like he predetermined where he was going to go with the football.
Yeah, he wasn't really going through progressions. He wanted to go to his top guy. You do that against this defense, they'll make you pay, won't they?
Yeah, they certainly will. They react very quickly to the thrown football.
Now it's Stafford. Oh, a scrap for the football, and he's going to come down with it. They call it a gain of 19, and it moves the chains.
I know at the end of games, coaches always tell us that no one play won or lost a game. But this seems pretty important early, doesn't it? Their ability to pick up that 1st down on 3rd down, I thought that was key.
Well, you're already in the hole after the touchdown on the other side. How will you respond? We talk about that a lot, and they responded pretty well there. You go 3 and out, I think you give up a lot of momentum. You get down 2 scores, could be an entirely different game.
So they've got a nice drive going now. They're in good shape. What's interesting to me is they're also in that spot of the field where you would take a shot. Do you change that up just because you're down a touchdown?
The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7. Now Stafford. Oh, he's able to out-muscle him here as he pulls it in. And this is going to be another 1st down as the tackle's made at the Saints' 33.
I do believe we'll see a little bit more of this as this game progresses, because when you can have that type of a game in the middle of the defense, it hurts them in so many ways, because most teams like to be strong down the middle. And if you can sting them there, that open things up for you on the outside as well.
But that's where their big tight end, is so good, that middle third, the seam routes, the end routes. Yeah, you're right. Probably see more of that.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage and fortitude to go in the middle as well, and he's got it.
Looking for more there on 1st down, but this throw downfield incomplete.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice, getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
2nd and 10 from the 33-yard line.
Watch this left.
Throwing again. Stafford. And he's going to be taken down. Pressure gets there back at the 39-yard line. Alex Anzalone leading the surge there as he drops him for a loss of 6. After the sack, Stafford and the Lions come up on a 3rd and long situation. Stafford. And he's going to go down again. Cameron Jordan wreaking havoc with a sack. On fourth down on is Dustin Colquitt to kick this away. After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. Second quarter action now from Detroit, and it's the homestanding Lions who have the football. They are, however, facing a fourth down situation. And a bit of a mistake there. This is well into the end zone for a touchback. The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. They'll be looking to duplicate that first drive, the one that got them that 7-0 lead.
Of course they would. Look, they're on the road, so getting a 7-0 lead was huge for them, right? Imagine getting up 2 touchdowns on the road, taking the crowd out of the game. It'd be ideal.
It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice, solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
From the 26, they'll line up on 2nd and 4. Breeze now to throw. Throw left side, taken in by Hill. And past the 40 before he's out of bounds. 15 yards on the play, first down.
I got a kick out of that one, partner. You and I talk often about trying to hide receivers in certain situations, but a guy of his size can't really hide him. But the tight end drag route, definitely an effective way to sneak him across the formation for an easy completion and a first down.
The Lions will use the first of their timeouts. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this second quarter.
Ready, 95-56.
Now a first down carry. It's Camara. Credit the tackle that time to Deshaun Hand.
What's the old expression, 3 yards in a cloud of dust? In this case, it's dust-covered pellets. It's no longer that old grass that we used to play on, right, and chew it up. Now we've got that artificial surface. You see the pellets go up. Still a nice play by the defense.
We're good, we're good.
From the 44, Breeze. Looking left side, and he's got a man. It's Hill. Only 3 yards on the catch. It's third down.
And, partner, I think that's a great example that not all tight ends are created equal, because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
Ready, 5-8, 5-8. Pick your game up. Sammy.
From the gun on third down, Breeze. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. The Saints passing game in sync and moving the football. It's a first down. Breeze going to come up here, 1st and 10. And he's a perfect 5 for 5 here to begin the game.
I smell fear in that offense. Hey, switch gears.
Now we'll get a quick timeout called by New Orleans, number 2. So as they take it over, we step aside.
Ready.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10.
36. Hey, Steve 6.
Working from the gun, it's Breeze. They'll tussle for it, and this is going to be caught. Another big hitter there. This one good for 18.
One of the selling points of the corner route is usually the receiver is able to move away from the defender. But in this case, he didn't get that far away.
Breeze going to come up here, 1st and 10. And he's 4 for 4 now, throwing the ball to start the drive. On the ground, Camara. And stopped a few yards shy of the goal line at the 3. A good gain again. That's now 31 yards combined on those last 2 plays.
Now, this is an example of breaking down a defense, because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
Ready? 280. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
They'll run it with Kamara. And he is in for the score. Touchdown, New Orleans. A 3-yard touchdown run. And the Saints able to stretch that lead out further. Solid job up front. Really just a solid job all the way around to get that one in.
Yeah, that was well executed, wasn't it? Well blocked, well run. End result, 6 points.
Touchdown. Lutz good on the extra point. And that'll make the score 14-0. Morstead out now following the touchdown to kick. That's fielded in the end zone. And the decision to bring it out is going to cost him about 7 yards all told, as he's taken down back shy of the 20. The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10.
Hey, we got to get this stop here, team.
Stafford going to give this one off to Johnson. He is taken down at the 21 after a short gain of 2.
Well, that's a good start to this drive on the defensive side of the ball.
Force the incompletion on first down. Then you're able to shut down the running play on 2nd.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised now. A little bit of pressure going at the quarterback on the expected passing situation.
Ready? 250. Watch the run. Watch the run.
Throwing on 3rd down, Stafford. And he's taken down here by the Saints. Demario Davis coming in for the sack that time.
Bucko. That's
where
they
used
to play.
Normally, don't have a lot of empathy for the QB, right? In this case, definitely, he's been on constant duress this entire game. I don't know how he's surviving back there.
And to think, there's still a long way to go in this football game. 44 on his first punt, and this is a good kick as well. Harris to return. It takes a touchdown-saving tackle to bring him down as he goes 32 yards on the return. And the Saints will have a short field in front of them. They take over here, 1st and 10. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38.
Hey, come up with your own fucking thing. Get the fuck off YouTube looking at the best way to do this, the best way to do that.
Watch Mike.
Come on.
Check. Hey, Haywood. Check 52's the Mike.
I don't want none of that shit. I'm doing my own shit.
I'm coming after you.
Now Breeze. Shakes off the sack. But in the end, the pressure too great, and he goes down. Kyler Fackrell in there to take him down on what will take us to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play, first half. It's 14-0. We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes, we'll again head down to visit with Jonathan Coachman in Orlando, back for another year. He'll have scores from around the NFL here on this opening weekend. To try again after the sack. Breeze, and it's hauled in by Jared Cook. They get 11 back on that one. It leads to third down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
Meanwhile, on third down, they take a shot at the end zone, but it's incomplete. On fourth down, off goes Drew Brees, and on comes the Saints kicker, Will Lutz, for the field goal attempt. From the left hash, it's an even 50-yard attempt. And this one is right down the middle. And the lead will grow. It's now 17-0. These kickers now, it used to be that a 50-plus yarder was cause for celebration, now seemingly automatic.
Yeah, isn't it funny when we prepare for a game, when you look at the backgrounds of these kickers, it's interesting, isn't it, to find out they were all-state quarterbacks, receivers, defensive backs, all-state wrestlers, right? Baseball players. We're finding athletes all along, and now they're just specialists putting it through the posts.
The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. And we don't want to call this desperation time, especially in the second quarter, but you're down.
Want to.
No, but let me finish.
Okay, my bad.
You're down 3 scores already. You've done nothing offensively, nothing on the scoreboard. That's not a good combination.
I think you just called it desperation time. I think you did. But let's face it, you mentioned this to me in a break earlier in the game. The energy level hasn't been there right from the start. We've noticed that. They've got to find a way to get on their toes and start punching instead of retreating, to use a boxing analogy.
Now on 2nd and 13. Stafford flush to his right. And avoids the contact by sliding. A nice job of eluding the pressure there, scrambling for 11. Third and 2, Stafford. And that is incomplete. So 17 seconds now on the clock here.
This defense not going to make it easy for you. They're a physical group, and we just saw it there on that play. It came in, made the contact, just as he's trying to haul it in.
He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, or that could have been trouble. The Saints offense on the field, ready to get their drive started. Time for a final kneel down or a safe run, and then they can head to the locker room with a lead. Yeah, or they can even run a screen. You know, something they feel is somewhat safe that might actually pop and turn into a big play. That's what you usually run in this situation. Or go 4 verticals, because why not? Because you're feeling it, right? You're just feeling it. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Running with Kamara. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. So we've reached halftime here on opening weekend. As we'll send you down to Orlando, and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach, we'll see if Week 1 fatigue becomes any kind of a factor as we are back underway in the second half. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll take it back to about the 19-yard line. The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive. And that first half, one to forget really on both sides of the ball. They got to find some way to string something together here, don't they? Yeah, they're down big right now. So as you mentioned, trying to find something to string together, get some consistency, something sustained, maybe calm their whole team down and find a way to get back in this one. Yeah, because right now you're down big, you're being shut out. Let's see if this is the drive that kind of kickstarts them.
Check 3, check 3.
On 1st and 10, Stafford. Right side, it's the tight end, Hockenson. And he gets this one to midfield before he's brought down. 17 yards on the play as they try to eat into this 17-point deficit. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on 1st down. from the 50. Stafford. Oh, he got position on him, and he pulls it in. Another nice gain. That's now 30 yards between those last two plays. I don't know what they talked about at halftime. Whatever it was, it worked. They look like a different team here in the third quarter.
Yeah, I doubt that there are very many trash cans that got kicked over, that type of a speech. I think what they did was they analyzed what worked in the first half, what didn't, and figured out a better game plan.
59!
Now a first down throw. Stafford. There goes a deep ball. End zone. And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off by Eli Apple. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. First possession of the third quarter, an interception, so maybe a second-half tone setter.
Indeed, and not the tone they wanted to set. That's the equivalent of running out the wrong door and running into your pool instead of running out onto the field. A real dud for that one.
Has that happened to you before?
No, but I've heard stories about teams actually doing that back in the good old days.
At the 28-yard line. Line of scrimmage, the 28 now as they come up on second and a couple.
Here we go, here we go. 0-2, 0-2. Hey, Zoo.
Oh, who was that?
Breeze now. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. 7 yards there and a first down.
That was a pretty favorable situation there. What would you call that? Second and manageable? Smart play, too. Didn't force it downfield when he didn't have it. Just checked it down, let him get the first down, and that's exactly what he did.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10.
Hey, Echo.
Here's Breeze. Man open, that's Robert Foster, complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. A good pick up there of 20 yards. So the ball moves into Lion territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 46.
Hey, Alpha.
Here's Breeze to throw. That's out to Hill, right side, complete. Give him a couple on the catch. It's 2nd and 8.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
To throw again on 2nd down. Breeze. And he's going to be swallowed up. Sacked back at the 45-yard line. A'Shawn Robinson. Too much to handle that time. Gets the sack.
But nothing takes a start to have a good drive quite like a big loss on a sack, does it?
Now they're looking at a 3rd and long, and suddenly the momentum shifted to the other side of the football.
And old Mo is a very, very fickle man.
Now that'll be tipped and intercepted. Picked by Kendall Fuller. Well, they needed a break. They needed to make a play here in the third quarter defensively. They did that. Now they got to go quickly and get some points on the board.
And the best part is that they made their own break, taking the ball away. Now they just look at their offense and saying, guys,
let's go.
Come on, capitalize on this one.
40 got. Hey, give me radar. 47's the mic, boy. 47. Check, 47. Hey, let's get off the field, D. Let's get off the field, D.
After the interception, here's Stafford. Open man, he's got him, the tight end, Hockenson. Able to get 7 on that first down pass play. 2nd and 3. Johnson. And running room scarce here. He's going to be stopped in his tracks at the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain that time as it's going to leave him with a 3rd and about 3 to go. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on third down.
Hey, whoa! Check back 47. Check back 47.
A shotgun snap for Stanford. Throwing the out route incomplete. That's Hodges. And they're going to mark him down short, maybe by about a yard, if that.
One hallmark of good defenses is understanding the game, understanding positioning, and tackling immediately in the secondary after catches. I think we just saw that on display right there.
Got to him before he ever had a chance to think about turning it upfield. Colquitt on to kick as he sends it away. And this one hits at the 3 and then bounds into the end zone for a touchback. The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. And now you've got the clock winding down here in the third quarter. Your 3 scores to the good. What's your approach on this drive?
Too early to fully commit to playing the clock game. Yet at the same time, you're also not going pell-mell like you would in 2-minute offense. This is what NFL offenses call 4-minute football. Take the clock out of the game a little bit, wind it down, but at the same time, keep advancing the ball down the field.
And this should be the final play before the quarter ends.
Easy. 5-1.
And that is going to do it for this third quarter of action. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38.
14. Hey, Charlie. 51, Mike 51.
Shotgun now for Breeze. And under the Lions' pressure, he's brought down. Jared Davis able to run him down for a loss of 12 that time.
Well, so much for setting the tone of the drive offensively. Giving up a big sack that loses that kind of yardage, not a great start.
That huge loss on the sack makes this job much more difficult. It's now 2nd down and 22 yards to go.
Y'all playing wrong. Bud.
To throw is Breeze. Out of the backfield, that's complete to Kamara.
That's my bad.
A big-time play there for New Orleans. 44 yards. Boy, another big play late here for an offense, Charles. It certainly has had its fair share of big plays.
Coverage has been a problem all game long, and I would say that going along with that has been confidence. Because even if they had the right coverage, they still dented them, and now it's been a real issue for them during this game.
That's caught. It's Thomas. And he'll take it into the end zone for the Saints touchdown. Michael Thomas, 31 yards. And the Saints able to stretch that lead out further. Lutz with the extra point. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. Morstead out now following the touchdown to kick. Fielded about a yard deep. Then he'll take this across the 25, couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason.
Oh, my God.
It certainly is. You got to get points. And, okay, all right, I'm being facetious here. But you get points. You feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on to the next one.
What the?
Let's talk a little football 101 here, because one of the keys to advancing the ball downfield, success on first down. Huge difference, as we know, between 2nd and 4 and 2nd and 8 and 9.
The last run got 6, now 2nd and 4. Laundry on the field. This is going to be a false start on the offense.
Sometimes you have to slow things down a little bit when things get heated. The cadence has to be slow and deliberate at times to make sure your team's ready to go.
The false start hurts him there a bit. Backs him up to 2nd and 9. Out of the gun, Stafford. They shakes him up, but now he's swallowed up and taken down. The sack coming from defensive end Cameron Jordan.
Remember, throughout my career here in defensive coaches always say, guys, you got to earn the right to rush the passer. Well, they put themselves in a great spot with this big lead, and they know they've got to throw the ball.
These pass rushers have to be salivating. It is pin your ears back time indeed. After the sack, Stafford and the Lions come up on a 3rd and long situation.
56, the mark, boys. 56. Check 56. It's coming this way. Coming this way. Here we go. Here we go.
From the gun, here's Stafford. And that will be incomplete.
Okay.
Well, the trials and tribulations of being a quarterback in this league, it's tough. It's got to be wearing on him out there.
Well, he has been sacked a number of times. He had an interception, so I'm going to give him a skosh of credit for hanging in there and trying to make something happen, despite the amount of pressure he's been under this entire game.
And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. A good return there, 17 yards. And the Saints will take over with a 1st down and 10. The Saints offense on the field, ready to get their drive started. With this lead and the football, things obviously looking good, but maybe, you've taught me this before, maybe this is where the defense is hoping that the offense helps them preserve that shutout that they've got going.
And it has to be in the minds of the offense that they know how rare it is.
Rush coming, and he's taken down. Jarrett Davis able to get in there for his 2nd sack of the afternoon.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
And the job becomes twice as difficult now after the sack. It's 2nd and 20. To throw, it's Breeze. And that one got tipped. Kind of threw everything off. It brings up 3rd. How good has he been throwing the football, though? And despite that incompletion, that's just the 3rd time he's been off target this entire game.
And, Brandon, I'd be on the other side of this equation, trying to defend a guy who's been this hot, and it chips away at your confidence. And when you're not confident when you're trying to defend, it makes you slower to the football, and it leads to more completions for them.
And now the 3rd down throw incomplete as well. That pass just a little bit off. It looked like maybe he tried to force it in there.
Game speed, always different, no matter what you do in practice. You can't simulate it, right? So your decision-making, everything has to be a little bit quicker. Sometimes it can throw you off until you adjust.
Give him 11 yards that time on the return, and the Lions will take over. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone, not even put points on the board. They've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try and figure out what is working, and call more of that.
Under 4 to go now as they come up on 2nd down. Now Stafford. And the Saints pressure gets him. Brought down for a sack.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block those guys. They've given up a whole lot of sacks, and the speed and quickness of that defensive line is eating them alive.
Hey, check Mike 47. Check Mike 47.
To throw on 3rd down. Stafford. Now the pressure comes and he goes down. Just inside the 10, back at the 9.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
Averaging over 50 yards a punt so far as this one's away. This is Harris. Nice job bringing that one back. 14 on the return. And this offense takes over in great shape right at the 50. 1st and 10. The Saints going to call the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. They've got good starting field position as they come up here 1st and 10. From midfield, here's Breeze. Oh, that was dangerous. Threw it into coverage, almost picked. But instead, they'll keep it on 2nd down. They're still throwing the football here. Now, obviously, the incompletion stops the clock. That's a bad thing.
Feels to me like they're just keeping them honest on defense because you know they're going to stack the line of scrimmage and try and stop any type of a running play. Short little passes may work in exchange of running plays. Keep the clock moving, keep them moving.
Reggie Bush.
There he goes.
Reggie Bush.
And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly.
And now we've hit that stage of the game, partner, where one of our predecessors, one of the great commentators of all time, he's just singing this situation, and this game appeared to be over.
I know the fat lady's been singing for some time.
No, not her at all. This is one of our guys.
But she's singing, too.
Oh, she's at least...
She's on, like, the 5th tune.
Yeah, she left Scales way behind, but he's just saying something about turning out the lights. The party was over.
This is fielded a couple yards deep. And a less than desirable return as he's out of bounds at the 15-yard line.
In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover if they want to try and put points on the board.
The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
Well, you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So the Lions in possession of the football as we welcome you back. They're looking at 2nd down now as they search for a consolation score.
56 is Mike. 56 is the Mike.
Looking to throw again on 2nd down. Stafford eluding the pressure right. And this one taken in on the right sideline, but not in the field of play. They say it's incomplete. The throw led him a little too far. It brings up 3rd down. The Lions on 3rd down. It's been a problem. Just 1 for 7 thus far. This is 3rd and 9.
50 smooth. 56. Check 56. Watch the pass. Watch the pass.
Operating from the gun. Stafford.
Oh!
And that is incomplete. Another incompletion. You know, it's a wonder he's still moving around back there the number of times he's been sacked.
Yeah, he's staying out there, isn't he? And you don't think about it much in a game like this, but he's showing incredible leadership. Still competing, still fighting, not taking himself out of a ball game that appears lost.
That's a legitimate ass question. Why do niggas think your whole squad with
on the return, Harris.
Dark Visor looks sweet like that?
A big kick that time, 52 yards. And that will come the offense as they take over.
Sweetest, and you just OD with that bitch. Like.
The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. And this game comfortably in hand. The scoreboard speaks for itself, but you still got your starting quarterback out there. When do you go to the backup, let him get some time?
And that's one of the great questions in the NFL, Brandon, because I'm just going to tell you, in the 2015 season, I commentated on 3 games in a row that were blowouts. And in none of them did the starting quarterback ever come out of the game for the team that had a big lead. And in each instance, I asked the coaches later on, why didn't you do that? And they all looked at me and said, Just don't really do that in the NFL. You know, these guys play, and we just play them all the way through. Now, in certain situations, they will take them out, but for the most part, they're not as worried and concerned about getting them out of the game, and that's always puzzled me a little bit.
That was second down 1 for Murray. And he's going to get it across the midfield stripe into Lion territory. Another 2-yard gain there, but they'll need to do better this time. It's 3rd and 6.
Sometimes you're aligned perfectly and the play comes to you, and sometimes you got to cover some ground to go make the play, as we just saw there.
We saw a great example of perseverance right there on that play.
Got to be careful. They might want to throw one over his head as this game progresses.
And he will be very close to a first down, but I see the closed fist of the referee, and that means 4th down. It's a 5-yard pickup, but spotted a few chain links short of the first, so a little bit of decision time here coming up on 4th down. And he will have a first down as they get him to the ground at the 37. Well, we kind of looked at each other as they decided to go for it, but in the end, great execution, a 6-yard gain, and it all works out. So this one, a victory here for New Orleans. And I tell you what, Charles, this might be about as good as it gets. They were incredible.
Yeah, offense was in fine form. The defense threw the shutout at them. I think they worked in concert together. What I like about the offense was they held the ball pretty well. You know, time of possession, exactly what they were looking for in this one, and that helped out their defense. Didn't have to be out there the entire time. So when you do that, you're out there fresh playing, a little extra spring in your step, and it showed up in this one.
They had a ton of spring in their step. Impressive victory. So for New Orleans, you can't